What is up, guys? Rick Kackis here. Thank you so much for stopping by, and today we ride at Dawn, specifically Season of Dawn, which has just launched for Destiny 2. Now, in this video, we are going to be going over all three of the brand new Ritual, or what most people still refer to as Pinnacle weapons this season. Bungie actually didn't announce them previous to the launch of Season of Dawn, so we're going to be looking at the stats, the perks, and the requirements for these weapons so that you guys know which ones you want to go for first and start grinding. And so, let's get started. And we are going to start here with our good old friend Zavala and the brand new Vanguard Ritual weapon. And here it is. It's actually a sidearm belonging to the 300 rounds per minute archetype. It's going to come automatically with a stability masterwork. It does have some decent perks originally, and then we get into the choice perks. So you can choose one of these two different perks for the ritual weapons continuing from last season. The first choice is between either Outlaw to increase reload on precision kills, or Fourth Times the Charm, rapidly land 4 precision hits to return 2 to the magazine. The next choice of 2 is between firstly Swashbuckler. The weapon gains increased damage from melee kills and kills with this weapon, and then a brand new perk. That's right, there are new perks available on weapons for this season. We have Osmosis. Using your grenade ability changes this weapon's damage type to match your subclass until you stow it. So, if you're using a solar subclass, you throw your solar grenade, and this normally kinetic weapon becomes solar. Now, that can be quite useful in high-level activities, especially nightfalls with match game. Essentially, you are getting one more weapon that you can use as an elemental weapon, in addition to your energy weapon and your heavy, and I guess your normal abilities, although this would be matching your abilities, but that does add a degree of usefulness in those specific circumstances. Is it all around an insane perk? No, it really seems specialized around basically match game. Otherwise, it's kind of a useless perk. However, going either Outlaw or Fourth Times the Charm combined with Swashbuckler, which is a very good perk, and you are going to be getting melee kills more often with a close range weapon like a sidearm, I think this is still an overall decent option for anyone out there who does enjoy using sidearms. However, I don't think this is necessarily going to take over any sort of meta. But what are the requirements? Well, looking here at our boy Zavala, you are going to need to complete these objectives in strike playlists, and you need sidearm final blows, you need 50 sidearm airborne final blows, and lastly, you need overall points. I think this is going to be maybe on the grindier side, and whenever you see points, it usually is, but those are definitely not difficult requirements. You can sit in the strike playlist all day and probably get this sidearm by the end of that day. Moving on from there, we have the Crucible Ritual weapon, and this is actually a linear fusion rifle for this season. And interestingly, buried in the patch notes, all linear fusion rifles are now actually buffed by 20% increased damage for precision shots. So that's something of note. In any event, this is going to come with a Masterwork 2 charge time, and then our first selection of perks, we have firstly, no distractions to decrease incoming flinch. Obviously good with any sort of precision weapon, linear fusion rifles included. We then have moving target, increased movement speed and target acquisition when moving while aiming down sights. This is generally a decent perk on sniper rifles, and that would apply to linear fusion rifles as well. Next, we have the next choice, which is firstly, box breathing. Aiming this weapon for a short period without firing grants a bonus range and precision damage that resets after firing or exiting zoom. And then we have, lastly, Eye of the Storm. This weapon becomes more accurate and boosts handling as your health gets lower. Okay, so this is an interesting weapon because we really don't have any sort of flashy perks here. We don't have Rampage and Kill Clip for some insane damage, one-shot body potential, anything like that. But we do have a lot of actually perks that are low-key quite good. Eye of the Storm on console, especially because of Bloom, can be a godsend. No distractions, helps you hit your shots. Moving target as well, like a lot of snipers really love that moving target perk. So combining, no distractions or moving target with Eye of the Storm is basically going to give you a weapon that most people are going to be shooting you thinking that you're flinching like crazy. Most other linear fusion rifle users in that position wouldn't be able to hit their shots, but you, because of these perks, just might. With that being said, I don't think this is breaking the meta either, and I think that compared to the Randys, this is much worse. I expect people to be very disappointed with this season's Crucible Pinnacle weapon, but let's talk about the requirements and go and see Shaxx. So, to get this weapon, you're going to need 125 linear fusion rifle final blows, and you have to do these objectives, by the way, in the Crucible. Now, that sounds bad at first because you're like, oh my goodness, linear fusions are heavy, but don't forget the Arbalist. If you have specifically the Arbalist, it is a special weapon, so it's going to help you get that done much easier. Then we only need 15 linear fusion rifle precision final blows, and you need to achieve the glory rank of Heroic, and that's actually very, very important. Usually it's Fabled, but the rankings go, remember, Guardian, Brave, Heroic, Fabled, Mythic, Legend. So Heroic is actually before Fabled, and you're going to need less time in the comp playlist than ever before to get this weapon. So it may not be as flashy and as good of a weapon, but it does seem much easier to get. And next up, the last weapon we're going over is the new Gambit Pinnacle weapon, the Python Shotgun. This belongs to the aggressive frame archetype, which is the best for killing other Guardians, and it has a reload masterwork. Looking at the perks, it's already disqualified for PvP. It doesn't have the ballistics that you are looking for, and compared to the Mindbenders, this thing will just not compete. But what about PvE? Well, we have the first choice of perks, and here we have something really, really interesting with Overflow for the first time ever on a shotgun. Now, the Overflow perk makes it so that picking up special or heavy ammo reloads this weapon to beyond its normal capacity. So this has a 5-round magazine, which is pretty typical for this archetype of shotgun. If you go over some special ammo, maybe 2 bricks, it's easily going to go to a 10-15 round magazine. A 15 round aggressive frame shotgun. That is absolutely absurd. That's beyond anything in the game right now. Again, this is a very unique perk on shotguns specifically. Or you can choose Feeding Frenzy to give you increased reload speed upon getting a kill. The next choice is between, firstly, another actually very good perk, 1-2 Punch. Hitting an enemy with every pellet in a shot increases melee damage for a short duration. And then we have Shield Disorient. Energy matched shield explosions disorients nearby combatants. So, I think that this weapon with the combination of Overflow plus 1-2 Punch is actually going to be a pretty decent PvE weapon. Running around with 15 rounds before you need to reload, and if you're constantly picking up ammo, you will never need to reload this weapon. You are just constantly going to pick it up. It's automatically going to increase your magazine. You will basically never need to reload this weapon, and it has 1-2 Punch, which has proven itself to be a very, very deadly and powerful perk. So, PvP, it won't move the needle. If you're a Crucible player, probably not worth getting. But for a very unique, very powerful PvE shotgun, that is what this is. But what are its requirements? Well, let's check in with the Drifter here. And of course, these need to be completed while you are in Gambit. So firstly, we need 500 final blows with shotguns. Then we need 150 close range final blows with specifically shotguns. By the way, for each of those, Guardian kills are going to count for more than 1. They're going to count for more efficient progress. And then lastly, you need to get to the infamy rank Heroic, which, just like the Crucible, is below Fabled. That is easier than normal. Frankly, although that does look like a lot, 500 final blows, you gotta remember it's 500 final blows against thralls, acolytes, and all of the random enemies that spawn in Gambit. If you use a decent shotgun like the escalation shotgun, like, well, frankly, any half-decent shotgun out there, and just go to town, killing a bunch of enemies, put on ammo finders and scavengers for shotguns so you get constant ammo for it, I feel like you'll get this done in no time. So, that is it for all 3 of the brand new ritual weapons. Frankly, I think the sidearm, potentially because of that osmosis perk, and the Python shotgun are the most interesting. But even then, I don't think any of these 3 weapons are absolutely insane. I don't think any of them are on the level of the Randy's throwing knife from last season. That is a very powerful weapon and decent in both PvE and PvP. These seem to be more specifically set around one part of the game, if that. But it does seriously appear that Bungie kind of knew this and made the requirements easier for all 3 of these weapons than we've had in other seasons. So, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed, learned which one to go after first, and if you guys did enjoy the video, please help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. And if you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at @RickKackis. That's linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.